Hello and welcome to Math Tutorial Bilingual 25. Today we will cover the subject of break-even analysis. It is also called cost-volume profit analysis and provides important and useful information about a company's activities, which then will lead to profit and loss overviews. Graphically, it can be represented by a so-called break-even chart. In this example, we can see a break-even chart which consists of two lines. The first line is the total cost line. This is the red line here. And the second line is the total revenue line, which is the blue line. Both lines lead us to two different areas. The first area is the loss area. In a loss area, the costs are higher than the revenues. The second area is the profit area. In the profit area, the revenues are higher than the cost. Now, as an intersection point, we have the so-called break-even point. The break-even point is the point where the company neither makes a profit nor sustain a loss. Let's have a further look on the cost, revenue and profit function. First, we need to define the cost function. A cost function consists of two different parts. One part is the variable cost, and the other part are the fixed costs. Examples of variable costs are raw materials, packaging costs, production supplies, or transaction fees. Examples of fixed costs are rent, salaries, insurances, loan payments, property taxes. Then, of course, we want to make some profit. Before we make profit, we have a revenue. A revenue is a total payment received from selling X amounts of output items, for example, goods or services, at a price P. This will then lead to a revenue function R of X equals P times X. Now, when it comes to the profit, how do we calculate the profit? The profit is calculated by the difference between revenue and costs. So this will give us then another function called P of X equals R of X minus C of X. And the break-even point is the point at which the revenues of a business cover the expenses. That means R of X equals C of X, which is the same when we say P of X equals 0. Let's make an example. A manufacturer reports that their revenue function and cost functions are R of X equals 60 times X and C of X equals X cubed minus 17X squared plus 114X plus 72. How many items does the manufacturer need to break even? To answer these questions, we need to go forward stepwise. The first step is to find the profit function. We have seen that profit is the difference between revenue and costs. So, if we define P of X equals r of x minus c of x, then you can see the result in this function here. Step number 2 is to set the formula from step 1 to 0, which is the same if we set p of x equals 0. If we do that, we can see that this is now this equation here. In step number 3, we have to solve this equation for x. We can do this in different ways. One of the most important ways is to use a calculator. So using a calculator will lead us to the 3 different results. First result is x1 equals minus 1. x2 equals 6 and x3 equals 12. Of course, x1 equals minus 1 is not relevant. We have the 2 other results of this equation. So the loss area will then be between 0 and 6 goods. The profit area between 6 and 12 goods. And the break-even point is then x equals 6 goods. If you have a look at the graphical overview, you can easily identify these results. So you have here the loss area between 0 and 6 goods. We have the profit area between 6 and 12 goods. You can see in this graphical overview the cost function c of x versus the revenue function r of x. Last but not least, the profit function p of x is drawn. And you can easily see that this profit function has a minimum and a maximum. So this will lead us then to further questions in this context. These further questions will use differential calculus. First question, how to find the maximum profit and minimum costs? And second question, what are the effects of changes in costs and revenues? This will be subject of one of the next videos. I hope you could learn something about break-even analysis, and it was useful information for you. I would be glad to hearing from you some comments or some wishes. Let me know this in the comments. Thank you for listening and goodbye for today.